go, Kiri. Let's stream. Come on. Hi. Hi, good girl. Get that ball. Where's that ball? Get it. So we're in imminent danger of a Kiri explosion today, Justin. She almost didn't go anything this morning, so just so you know. Oh, and we're not. I'm starting soon. Good girl, get it! Get it! Get it, Kiri, get it! Kiri, get it! Get the ball! Oh. Hey everybody, good morning and welcome. There we go! I knew she'd do it when I started my intro. Hello everybody, welcome to Reaper Pro Tips. This is me, your host Anne, and disembodied voice Justin, who currently will sound like he's from beyond the grave, because I've been lax in attaching the purple cord. Hi, Squeaky! Hello, little dog. Yeah, Kiri is very exuberant this morning because she knows she's going to have a Kiri emergency and she's looking forward to disrupting the stream. It's been that kind of morning, which is why we are just like, I'm kind of grumpy about it. Oh, let's see here. Let's get combobulated because we are totally discombobulated this morning. Yeah, little doglet. Squeak your ball. You have two of them over there. Good girl. All right, there we go. Now we're here, more or less. Yes, the happy Kiri sound, right? And thanks to Chibi Amy, if she's here, yes, you are. Yes, thanks to Chibi Amy, we now have a Chibi Kiri, thanks to her daughter, who, I don't know her name, but thanks to Chibi Amy's daughter, the small Chibi, for the smaller Chibi, the younger Chibi anyway. Because you never know, right? Because I have friends who are like, their kids are like 12 and taller than them. But thank you Chibi Amy's daughter for making us a happy Kiri Chibi to use as a Twitch emote on my channel. And thank you Image of Betrayal for your 6-month sub, and thank you for Masara for the 8-month sub. We are slowly building. We gotta be in the 60s or 70s now. Are we in the 60s or 70s, Justin, toward our...
I believe we're at 59.
Oh, okay, 59. All right, so we got a little ways to go, but not bad. We can totally do that. All right. Oh, she's 20. Okay, well, cool. So definitely older chibi then. Almost drinkable chibi. Or I guess the drinking age isn't 21 like everywhere. Or maybe it is. I don't know. I don't remember these things. It's been too long. All right. Into engineering. Nice. Engineering chibi faces onto things. This is what she ought to do. Here we are. But yes, many thanks to her for the Curie face. This is definitely a superior Curie face. Aerospace, nice. Yeah, I know some people who work for Lockheed who are aerospace engineers. Although now, well, no, Lockheed still seems to be doing things. I was going to say, I'm not sure about job opportunities right now, but at least both my friends who work there still have jobs there. But yes, good morning, everybody. Oh, definitely chibi planes. Must be making chibi planes, chibi Amy. Alright. Yeah. We're going to do some base work. Let's see here. I really want to finish this model. It's one of those days where you wake up, and it's not that you're, like, tired, but your brain is just, like, not in sync with you. Half drow purplish skin tone. Well, Barantor, Dark Elf skin is a purple-gray skin tone. And is still, around. So, the other triad, unfortunately, that was purplish drow skin, dusky skin, I am told is currently out of stock and may be going away. So, I mean, Dark Elf skin is a purplish skin tone. However, it is a grayish purple. So if you wanted something more brownish purple and more natural, then you'd have to mix. But we did make 2 Dark Elf triads. We now only have 1. Things to remember about using purple for skin. Don't use anything bright. It looks weird. It doesn't look like drow. If you are going to go brighter, like for a demon or something, remember that's going to affect the other colors you can use on your model. Read my handout about saturation if you are on the Patreon. Yeah, I always like dusky skin better. That was me, because I always will go for a more natural skin tone for monsters. Monsters are fantastical enough, in my opinion, without throwing a bunch of crazy skin tones in there. You can make them magical looking without, like, totally departing. Then you're getting weird, Barantor. Like, if you're gonna use purple undertones, you're gonna have to glaze. So it really, I don't know what your level is as far as a painter. So if you're good with layering and glazing, you could, I mean, pale is weird for drow. Usually they're dark-skinned, but, I mean, you could go pale. The danger would be that the drow's gonna look more vampiric than drowish. But, I mean, if you want to do purple undertones, I mean, purple is a very good shading color for skin, so you shouldn't have problems there. I'd probably use runic purple. I might mix in something to dull that down, unless you can use it very, very thin. I'm trying to think of other purples that would work really well. Usually you want a reddish purple. Yeah, I mean, yeah, whenever you say undertones, then I kind of raise eyebrows, because for me that says paint the skin like it's skin, and then glaze some purple into the shadows. That's what an undertone is. So, oh no, I'm dropping my water. That's not good. It's one of those days. But yeah, so what I would do if I were you, and what I always recommend, is get out there on the interwebs and find a piece of 2D art, digital or traditional, that is what you would like to do. And then maybe post on the Discord or, you know, Facebook or somewhere, or, you know, whichever Reaper social media. People will help you everywhere. And say, hey guys, I'd like to reproduce this roughly on a mini. Do you have some color suggestions? Yeah, I mean, half drow, to me, I don't think it would look that unusual. I mean, I prefer drow that are just dark skin, like traditional human dark skin. And maybe with some bluish shadows or purplish shadows. But I like my drow to look like they could exist. So for me, a half drow then would just be a lighter skinned, you know, maybe Creole, kind of like a lighter, like a golden brown skinned. Maybe you could put some purple glazes in the shadows there. I mean, the easy way to do it is to make the skin tone lighter, but still like not as light as like one of us pale people, and go for the white hair. Like assume the white hair is dominant genetically, and then you could probably pull it off. Going pale skinned with white hair you could do too, but like I said, if you do that and you make it look unnatural, it risks going vampiric. Morning live with your Z's. Yeah, I was thinking about it because Juliana doesn't have much left, working on both Twisted Oma. I wanted to get her basing done because I wanted to talk about how to nicely paint this broccoli. And I think we're going, since we don't have swamp green, we're going with troll hide for our olivey color. Now I need a nice color to bring it up with. I need a yellow of some sort to mix in. We could go with the ogre skin since we're in that bailiwick, but I think I'm going to use candlelight. I used candlelight yesterday. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, it's a complex question, Marintar, and what you really need to do is find a piece of art that is what you're trying to copy. Like, otherwise, you can't set specific goals, right? Like, you say half drow to me, and I don't know what you're aiming at. You say pale skin tone, that's the opposite of what I would have guessed. So, yeah, night. I mean, you can do that night, but then, like I said, then you really risk people, like, depending, if you're just doing it for you, great. But if you're doing it for a game or something, then you risk it looking more vampiric than anything, right? Which maybe you want that. Maybe vampire drow are your thing. I'm just going to add a drop of candlelight and see what sort of color I get. I don't know. This is kind of mossy, but I might want to go brighter with this. Let me grab do you want to grab our Happy Alchemical Green again? We used it yesterday and I liked it. Yeah, we'll use Alchemical Green from Pathfinder. But yeah, it's just like who's going to be seeing the figure? Who are you hoping to impress? Is it a gift for somebody? It's their character. You know, if it's their character, then, you know, then maybe, you know, you should ask, you know, if they're looking at a particular book that got them inspired to play a drow, you know, like maybe there's concept art in that book, you know, that would give you kind of a guideline. If they're a fan of the old Drizzt Do'Urden novels, Drizzt had just normal brown skin, so, you know. I see. Yeah, I mean, I might ask the person at that point, Barantor. Or at the very least, look up some, like, type in half-drow art and bring up some ones that look cool to you, and then consult your family member and say, hey, so I didn't quite know what you wanted with a half-drow. Here's some examples. Which one do you like the best? I mean, with something like that, when it's somebody's character, I always think it's a very personal preference, and I would always ask them. And if they really aren't good at visualizing, then I would look up pieces of art, send them a couple pieces of art, and say, okay, which one is closest to what you were thinking? Because a lot of people can't really, they have trouble, like, visualizing, kind of, what they want, and they'll just say, oh, no, you just choose. But then, if you give them, like, 2 or 3 pieces of art and say which one, they're very good at choosing which one they like and which one they don't like. So that's how I usually help my art handicapped friends if I have to do something like that. So I'm mixing some weird colors. Troll hide is very, very olive. But I did want to keep, like, the olive tone mossy look of the ground here to differentiate it from the plants that she's picking. So what I did is I mixed in a little bit of alchemical green and candlelight yellow. And then I made a mix of mostly alchemical green with some candlelight yellow and just a brush full of the troll hide. Yo, Mathophile. Hey, Sidby. I need my block back. I stole it from Ms. Targaryen yesterday. Because she really needed to be on a block. But now I need to break her off the block. Happily, my sticky tack is not militant. Now Juliana can come back. Boop. There. Nice thing about bones is that you like just kind of have to plop them down on the blue tack, and usually they're lightweight enough they're not going to fall off as long as your sticky tack is sticky enough. Alrighty. Ah, yeah, dogs at the groomers. I remember that. Leo had to go to the groomers. Kiri is a wash and wear kind of girl. I like the smooth coat a little bit better than the plush coat in Shiloh's. Okay, I like it a lot better, actually. Kiri's like, Mama furminates me. It's terrible. Dungeon magazine. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fantastic dark elf art out there, and since there is, you know that people are playing Half Drow, so you know there's going to be art for that too, even if it's fan art or, you know, somebody drawing their character. It's still going to give you some ideas. So I'm going to take this mix of alchemical green that has a little bit of the troll hide in it, and you always want to have a little bit of your previous color in there, especially when it's so different. And I'm really just going to kind of dab little dabs, because if you look, you know, it's like, it really does look like mossy ground. So I'm going to leave the dark in the shadows, and I'm just going to kind of dab at the raised surfaces to stipple. And that's going to give us kind of a rough vegetation look to it. And I'm mostly going to leave that shadow under her knees. I'm going to leave the shadow, a little bit of shadow around the flower. I'm using the side of my brush for a lot. I'm like almost stippling with the side of my brush, which allows me not to get, you know, accidentally get paint down into the little recesses of the space. Yeah, well, and if that's what she wants, awesome, Barantor. But I'd give her a couple of choices. I'd say, hey, you can go two ways with this. You can go really pale and subterranean, or you can go more traditional, like half, you know, like Drow being dark skinned, so your you know, character might have dark skin, but not as dark as a traditional Drow. And that could be very striking with like a golden brown skin. With white hair would be very, very striking and pretty. So, and Lyriel's a good model for that. Her hair, as I recall, is pretty well sculpted. So yeah, it's really, I would always consult the person though. Even if they think they don't have an opinion, when you show them examples, they have an opinion. Alrighty, so now I got to come back here and I have to add a little bit of shading around some of these areas that got a little bit mucky. I want to make sure, like, I've got a nice demarcation line around my hedgehogs and everything, and the bottom of this, bottom of my bag really hasn't, we got too much white in this frame. Bottom of the bag really doesn't have a line, so I'm going to work with that. Oh yeah, Wintersy. I like with Leo. Try to wash and dry 100-pound fluffy dog. You know, it takes forever. So worth it, and the groomers are just so efficient about it. Like I could never upkeep his coat. Like he would get mats when it was just me, and I hated that. And I felt so bad for him. Like I pretty much swore off all long-coated dogs after that. I loved Leo, and I really love the look of the long-coated Shilohs, but the short coat is where my heart is. So much easier. And it's still fluffy and soft and petable. Ah, yeah, the Sandy Garrity minis. Talked to Derek Schubert about, like, painting their eyes, like, repainting the eyes a little bit bigger. Morning, Scrying Eye. How is everybody today? I am a little brain sluggish, so we're doing extremely simple things today so that Anne's brain does not, you know, totally screw up. So I'm just going to go in with my walnut brown, and I'm going to just make sure that I've got a little bit of a dark line firmly around the items that I'm trying to set off. Little shadow under Mr. Hedgehog there. And I can just add some water also to this. Like I just dip my brush in water. So now it's thinned down the walnut on my brush, and I can do a broader shadow if I want to, which sometimes looks a lot nicer. Just kind of a more blended shadow. And then I want a shadow underneath this bag as well. Just a little bit to be consistent. And I probably, well, I do have a shadow around that flower, so I'm pretty good there. Yeah, I've had better Mondays than this. Yeah, I agree. Oh, you spin the Samoyed for... Yeah, Samoyeds would be like Leo. It would be super hard. Like, I would totally go with the groomer with any dog like that. Yeah. Yeah, the hedgehogs are adorable. We did the hedgehogs yesterday, Scrying Eye, and this little guy is my favorite. So cute. Oh my gosh, so cute. It's not an animal I would ever have as a pet, but they are cute. I see why people do. Yeah, I mean, today isn't bad. For those of you who are my $15 patrons, you probably saw that I couldn't quite finish editing my second video for you guys last night. So we're going to be one day late with the second video of our paint along, which is the last video. It's just a massive video for my, for the basing. Like, you think it's going to take not much time because it's basing. Like, you know, it's not that hard, but it does take actual time, it turns out. All right, so pretty much, again, using the side of my brush to just hit this detail. And I'm leaving the shadows. I'm not touching those. I'm mostly concentrating on areas outside of my little realm of shadow there. Bringing up the texture with kind of a tapping motion. So my paint is a little thicker. It's not super thick because you want a more subtle effect. Essentially, if you use thick paint, you're going to get big globs, like dry brushing can do if you've got too much paint on your brush. But if you go about 3-to-1, you get thin enough that you can get a little bit of subtlety and the paint can come off your brush very gently. And so if you're using a good brush with a good tip, just with tapping, you can get some nice kind of naturalistic stippling going on. And it matches the texture of the base really well. Oh yeah, exactly, Princess Zelda. Yeah, that was Leo. He's a 100-pound Shiloh Shepherd, and he got the super thick Malamute coat from his Malamute progenitors because our breed founder, when she created Shilohs, she did introduce a Malamute cross. So yeah, that's the type of coat, except the long coat Malamute, like, you know, not even the traditional Malamute, but the fluffy Malamutes, you know, the ones that actually have a longer coat. That's what Leo was. So it was very hard. It wasn't hard before he was neutered, but after he was neutered, like, because the hormones are removed, the coat got so hard to care for. We didn't, he wasn't neutered till he was around 6 because he was a show dog. But then he had prostatitis, so we had to do that, and that fixed it, but that meant no Leo puppies for the future. His sister has descendants in our gene pool. Yeah, it's a big line, Coops. I mean, it's a standard line, right? It's almost 60, I think, or is it 60? I mean, that would be, I would consider it a standard paint line, but it is a full paint line. Yeah, they want to do a full paint line. So it is not just a little, like, line of boutique colors. It's not Secret Weapon. It's, they wanted an entire line. So yes. So I just mixed a little bit. I put a little bit of puddle up here. I just want little touches of lighter color. So I'm just like making a little mix up here of a lighter greenish yellow. And I could have done this in a pot, and I probably should have. But instead I decided to just go with a small amount up here. And it's like a decent puddle. It's got a little bit of the green in it. It's got a little bit of white in it. A little bit of the candlelight yellow. Just pretty much going to use it quick before it dries out. Oh, cool. Thanks, Scrying Eye. Yeah, Dragon, I'll have that last video. I'll have time to edit it after my stream this afternoon. Or finish editing it, I should say. And get that last level, that last bit up for Mr. Dragonkin. And then I think we're doing Tara from Bombshell next. The 75 mil. So that'll be good. That'll give you guys a lot of practice on skin. That's probably going to be several skin videos to start out. Because I'll do every area. Because you guys are going to need, you know, I assume a fair bit of input on that. Layering skin is probably the hardest. It's both the hardest and the easiest. It's like not as hard as layering some other colors. Like blue is definitely the hardest. And some purples. But skin is just, there's a lot of it. And you've got to make it smooth to make it look good. And so that's why it's more demanding in a way. You can get away with a little bit of texture on cloth, but you can't get away with texture on skin, especially not 75 millimeter. There we go. Oh, I would love for you to join the Patreon, Liquid Nebula. I hope you got my message. Yeah, I'm going to put up a little bulletin on my Facebook about being done with the first paint along with a picture of Mr. Dragonkin. So maybe we'll get some new friends signing up. I know there's bound to be people out there that have thought about it, but just keep forgetting. And so maybe sometimes when you do that sort of post, you know, you remind them and they're like, oh yeah, now is a good time. I didn't want to do it before it was done, though, because I wanted those of you who are already at my $15 level to be able to vote on the next thing without having a bunch of new people come in and skew the vote. So they'll get to vote on the next one if they stick around. All right, so pretty much I'm just focusing on the upper part now, like kind of up next to my dark shadow. Because this is where this is a very yellow color, and so it's suggesting I want to suggest the sunlight. Now, another way that I could do this, and that I need to, is that there's some still deep pockets up here, deep holes, but that really wouldn't be the case if the sun is like really coming down. So some of these upper lighter areas, I think I'm going to use this lighter color here and make a glaze with it to fill in, just to lighten those areas. I don't want to paint in those little pits. I still want the texture and I still want the character of them, but I want them to be a little lighter to reflect sunlight. So essentially, with glazing into deeps like that, you pretty much use the tip of your brush to dab it in exactly like you think you don't want to. Then you come back, rinse out your brush real quick. You have some time because these are deep pockets, and you just kind of slurp the paint away using the edge of your brush, kind of slurp it out of those little pits. But you leave a little bit of it. It's like, that's why you do such a fine touch for this, for glazing, for taking the paint off. Because you still want a layer of it there. You still want it to lighten that area a little bit. You can always put another layer in. It lightened it a little, but I do need another one. Yeah, I don't like the head either. Right, that's it, Shadow Raven, right? Exactly. Well, it turns out that the STL file is available, so essentially I'll tell the people, I'll make a post and point out to the people in Europe that they just need to find, you know, somebody who can print it for them. And hopefully that will help, because otherwise it's hard, the shipping is beastly. I'm going to do another glaze. But yeah, I mean, I'm almost thinking about doing a conversion on mine, because I hate severed heads on pieces. You never know what color to make the dang things to make them match your color scheme. Doing another glaze, guys. And, you know, so then they're automatically disruptive. So I have to wonder how hard it would be to change out that head for something. Just chop it off, put something else in her hand. Probably wouldn't be that hard. If I do it, then I'll include that conversion in my videos, my how-to videos for that. Alright, so this one is just still a little bit too dark, and I'm going to just dab some color in there. There we go. That's a little bit lighter. We've lost most of the dark up top. We still have some shadows, but it's not nearly as deep as it used to be. Maybe that's persnickety of me, but I just don't like really dark shadows where the sun is going to be coming down. It just seems unnatural to me, so we are just making sure that we're going to grab our really pale color, and we're going to re-stipple the top. Oh, I've got too much paint on my brush. There we go. You really don't want a lot of paint on your brush for the highlights. We're just going to re-stipple some higher highlights, because glazing will always drop your highlights and raise your shadows, depending on which color you're glazing with. So that's more light. There we go. Hey there, Deck Flow. I would say contact business@reapermini.com, or questions. Probably questions. Business wouldn't work. Adrian would just forward it to questions@reapermini. I think, am I right there, Justin, or should for sponsorship for streaming?
For sponsorship? No,
Yeah.
no. For sponsorship, you want
John.
Michael. No, it's
Is it
Collins is the one.
Collins?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Michael at reapermini.com. I think is what it is.
There you go, Deckflow.
Let me check his email real quick.
Okay, yeah. We'll check the email for you, but it's Michael Collins who you want to contact.
Yeah, I think it's just Michael at Reaper Mini.
Yeah, I need to contact him and get some. Since I'm sponsored by Reaper, obviously I should have their logo up on my stream and stuff, and I've been a silly Ann about that, not contacting to get that. So I guess I have to do that also. Probably should get a Dark Sword logo too. Oh well. Streaming fails by Anne. Can tell I'm a noob. There we go. All right, so there we go. Let's move this out of the way so y'all can see her better. There we are. So that's a pretty good. Like you're just gonna leave the broccoli, and on her, I honestly like very few minis would I just leave the broccoli on, but I think that she's one of them. It's actually not sculpted badly, and I don't mind. I like the mossy. It kind of looks like a little mound of moss that she's kneeling on. I think that's pretty realistic for this character. And there's not enough room to really like put like turf and stuff on there unless it's really fine. Like the stuff I was using on Dragonkin yesterday, I might be able to use. But there's so little base area that this is one where I would really no, but just Michael at Reaper Mini Deckflow. We don't mind putting Colin's email out here on the stream. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to come and take some black and touch up my edges, but overall, I'm pretty happy. Just need to touch up some of the skin tones in the back. We could do that now, I suppose. I'll do the cleanup on the base, get my pure black out. Cool. Twitch is twitchy? Yeah, that's par for the course, isn't it? So I do like a black base rim on my bases. I just think it looks nicer. It frames the model. It also separates the base from the model visually. Because I mean, the rim of the base is really just kind of like the drop-off edge of the world, so I just don't paint it to look like terrain. I paint it more like it's a picture frame. Just kind of touch it up and touch up places where my pink got overwhelming. Neaten it up. For gaming models, I know a lot of people like to use the ground color of the models for the edges of their bases. That's cool. It makes it look better on the gaming table sometimes, but I just like to do black. I don't think anybody in the earth could make Collins really earn his paycheck. Shadow Raven. I'm surprised that Collins hasn't jumped on here, actually. He likes the striped dress on this one. He always usually bounces in and says stripes. So maybe he is overworked these days. Ah, I see. Apple TV, yeah. Good deal. All right, so yeah, let's just do a quick touch-up on her skin, which is easy because I was using tan skin. So our greenish, we almost look swampy today, but it's not really swampy, it's mossy. Now we're just going to do just a little touch up on her hands. But then, I think she's officially done, and Ron can have her. Can put her in wrap her up nicely and put her in a box for Reaper. Alright. Yeah, I don't know. A base is a base to me. I don't know that I can think of wanting to use a clear base unless it's a flying base, like a flight base. Because for me, a base is just a thing to frame your model. So unless that clear base makes sense story-wise, I probably wouldn't. Oh, Astrosquee, thank you for the subs. Astro Squee has gifted 5 subs. Well, that puts us up to 64, at least, assuming you counted the 2 in the beginning. If you didn't, Justin, that puts us up to 66.
Oh, I will.
Yeah. So we're at within 35 then. So we should be able to hit that in the next week or 2. We should be able to squeeze an AMA into October at that rate. There we go. Oh, so you can see the map through it. Interesting, Mistip. Okay, so it is a gaming application. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense to me if it has a gaming application. That totally works. For me, I'm always just looking at it visually because, you know, my pieces are more or less just display pieces. So it's always the artistic angle that I'm going to look at them. Just putting a little bit of a highlight here. I did a little bit of one earlier, but it didn't really carry great. So just touch up that arm and touch up this hand. Remember, when you paint the back of a hand, it usually does have like ridges in it from the bones and the veins and the muscles, tendons, I guess, under the finger. So you do sometimes want to suggest those a little bit when you're highlighting. There. It's a little better. Now I'm going to grab, I actually did a mixture of tan skin and white as well to bring up just a little bit of, like, the knuckles would stick out. They'd tend to stick out, so I tend to highlight that area. And up here on top of the thumb. And up there. Get a little bit lighter. There we are. Excellent. And yeah, I've got that. I've got the fingers. I've got that. I can do this a little bit more. Don't want to totally wash out the red undertone because I do want her to be more sunburned and stuff. But I do want to get my highlights in. There we go. All right. Yeah. Boop. There we are. Yay, we finished something. Bye, Barentor. No problem. So there we are, guys. We're finished. We're officially finished with the model. And now Ron can have her. I think she turned out really nice. I think this is actually the first model other than... Yeah, I think this is the first model we've actually finished on stream. Because I ended up finishing Dance of Death at home. So there we go. Like, complete model. Now we can go and count all of the streams that we did her on, and that will give you an hour's total. Now, given, you know, I do work a little slower when I'm on stream because I'm answering questions and stuff. So, and there are Curie interruptions. Yeah, Dance of Death definitely took longer. Yeah, so she's very pretty, and there we go. We got more up. More up. And, yeah, I like her. She's cool. Haha. I mean, Ron has a lot of Ann paint jobs in the gallery, to be honest. So, I guess I did finish the hippocampus. You're right, Jetta. But I think I finished the base work on the hippocampus in my office and not on stream. I seem to recall doing work on it in the office. This one I did no work off camera. 0. Better look on YouTube searching Juliana rather than item number. Thanks, Wintersea. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind finishing a model if I'm really, if I really like it, you know. There she goes. When I really enjoy a model, then it's easy to finish. I am going to paint the bottom of her base and sign her. And then we'll go on to Snack. Snack is next. Snack. We have some stuff to do on Snack. I'm debating going back and doing her metallics. I think I am going to need to before we... maybe we'll work on the base a little bit today, but I do need to spend a session finishing up the shading on her shaded metallics. As we did like one section and we didn't do much else. Here, Juliana, get over here so people can look at you nicely. Here. But yeah, so all of everything, every stage of this model was painted. And this, by the way, is a great way to do this if you have to paint the underside of the base and you have a nice block of sticky tack. I just paint the bottom of the base dark. And then I grab whatever close to white color I might have on my palette and I sign it. If I don't have a close to white color, then I just put a little bit of pure white down real quick. And even if you're not a pro, it can be nice to sign your models. And what I do is I always put the year that I did the model. So I always put like, you know, apostrophe 1920, whatever. And so that's kind of nice because then when, you know, you look back on your models in the future and you're like, well, when did I paint this one? And you can just look at the base and go, oh, okay, that was 2020. What a terrible year. Yep, we're going back to Snack. I've got my box full of Greg Zuniga ferns and stuff. So maybe we will attempt to paint the ferns and stuff on camera. I might do that for my personal stream, though. I'm kind of thinking, guys, what might be fun. Because today is my first day of streaming on Thursday on my own channel. And we were going to do, we're going to invade the D&D category. Because they don't have enough mini painting on D&D. They really need to. But I was thinking it'd be kind of fun to just like create an adventuring party and paint all of them. That could be fun. And then create the villains. You know, and paint those guys. So this could be fun. We could make up a fantasy, we could make up a little adventure and paint the models for it. That could be good. I kind of like that idea. So I used to GM a lot, and oh yeah, I always do it with paint. When is he? For one thing, it's good practice working with your brush, you know, to do fine detail and freehand. Whenever I can use paint, I do use paint. It's just more practice at that point. And it can be hard to sign your little initials on the underside of these suckers. So, oh, and just in the meantime, here guys, look. He's got base. That's our paint-along model from the Patreon. Dragonkin. Dark Sword does some nice Dragonkin. So we're almost dry. I'm going to start mixing up some colors for Snack, I think. Let's see here. She really needs... We need to think about what color the yellow-orange is going to be when it hits these rocks. The rocks are probably gray. I'm probably going to mix in... I started walnut because everything is going to be so dark down here. But I need to remember that I did bring in some blue and some purple to come up on the underside of things. Because some of that blue and purple I do want to be on the underside of these rocks. And then I might just mix yellow with like black and brown and see what I get. Maybe a touch of gray. Maybe yellow with gray and a touch of black and brown. You're trying to think about what color these would be, and they're going to be wet rocks, so they're mostly just going to be reflecting the light up here. But you also want to hint that they're lighter than, say, the dirt around them, right? If the dirt is dark brown and the rocks are more gray. I think I was just going to look for some, like, a nice representative selection of figures that I actually like. Because if I'm going to be painting these guys, they have to be figures that I actually like. So, I know I was looking at Ms. Tiefling, Wizard or Sorceress, we'd have to figure out, or Warlock. She probably makes most sense as a Warlock, Tiefling, as one of them. And I was going to look for some other guys, too. But I thought that might be fun. And it would fit the D&D channel. Because, I mean, I do DM, and it would be kind of cool to have a selection of characters just ready to go. A party, so to speak. All right, let's see. We've got, yeah, we're dry. We can sign our mini. I've got this light skin tone, so I'm just going to use that. It's about the right. I always use like light colors because they cover better. So usually, and this way also Ron will know who painted it. Although Ron has a pretty good memory, there were times when he and I were like, "Who painted this?" My little artist signature, and then I do a little bit of a circle. That would be my signature. So if you ever get a miniature or see a miniature that somebody claims was painted by me and it has a signature on the bottom that does not look like this, it is not an Anne. This is, I made up a little artist signature for myself when I was very small. I want to say I made this up when I was like 8 or 9. Because all the artists that I looked at in fantasy art, like Larry Elmore, had very cool little, you know, signatures that they used. And I wanted one. Yeah, oh, I'm truncated a bit by this top. But anyway, you guys get the idea. And then we sign it with the horrible year of 2020, which nonetheless has now been made slightly better by the fact that we finished this lovely model. I'm an optimist, in case you can't tell. I think there's still a chance to redeem 2020, although my apostrophe got very low, so let's fix that. I thought I was going to go lower with that. There we go. Apostrophe Blorf. It's just like a tiny Blorf. There we go. Now Ron can have his mini. Yay. Boom. Official done. When you sign it, it's officially done. You can't touch it anymore. So there we go. Yay, finished model. Snack time! Not missing a beat. Going immediately to the snack. Although Snack has such a big base, I don't really need to put her on a block. There we go. Let's zoom out a little bit. Snack requires zoom out. Alright, I'm going to flip my palette since I've got all this green stuff that I don't want on this side. So I'm just going to flip it. Probably flip it. Maybe I'll use the side like this. Sometimes I just use, you know, whatever I feel like. If I need to start a different mini and I don't feel like cleaning out my palette or I don't have time to. I'll pop some extra water into the wells I'm not using, by the way, guys. Just because it's going to make it easier to clean out later. So when I finally do get around to cleaning out this palette, then the paint won't have dried in it because I'll have added more water now. And that makes it much easier to clean. So I'm just adding all my water. Hey, Rax, thanks for the sub. Thank you, thank you. 11 months. You were almost at your 1 year. That's awesome. Alrighty. So, I'm going to say, I want some cloudy gray. But I'm going to drop a little bit of walnut or black and brown into it. Where's my black and brown? There it is. Because it is not going to be pure, really, underneath this light and in this shadow that she's got. And that brown mixture that I'm making, like that, is going to probably highlight a bit better with yellow because it's warmer. And I wonder if I want to highlight it, if I want it to be a little lighter, I probably would add like lemon yellow to gray it out a little more. And to rise it, warm it up a bit. All right. So we'll work on Snack Space today. And then, yeah, I actually grayed out my color a little bit more. It's a pretty good color to use. And then the yellow I can use candlelight yellow mixed with white. Though I may just keep the candlelight yellow as is right now and thin it down. Use it really thin to suggest that color. Maybe I'm going to put a little bit of white in. This bottle of white is almost dead. There we go. It's a little better. And I'm curious as to what these make. So I'm going to kind of mix them together over here. Yeah, kind of a light brownish gold. That's actually about right for the highlights on these rocks. I'm okay with that. That's a color I would have reached for. So, excellent. All right. So, start out by getting your rocks kind of blocked in wherever you think the light's going to hit. And to do this, you just want to visualize your light going down. You can do with the trick that I showed before, where you kind of like put the fireball over the area. And if the edge of the fireball is touching the area, which it is, you can see it falls over these rocks, then you are going to get light on those rocks. But remember, it isn't going to be as strong. It's going to pick up the light because I'm saying that it's wet, because there's going to be water down here. So these are probably a little bit, wet, glossy rocks. So we can get away with a little bit more, but don't do too much highlight down here, because too much is going to look out of scale with the way that the light is fading as it goes down her body. So we don't want to go too far here. So really, in doing kind of a test rock, and we also want to mostly concentrate on the upper edges, because the light will fall off again as it goes down. So anything that's like directly facing is going to get a little more light. Like on the side here, probably only just little touches. Just start bringing out that light. And now if we just put her like there, we have to kind of judge as we go, as we fill in these rocks with our grayish brown mixture. We have to kind of make sure we're being consistent. And the bottom parts of the rocks I'm leaving because I want kind of that, remember we've got that blue ambient, and I want to do that. So we will do that, absolutely. We still want that kind of like she's in the forest or jungle at dusk kind of look. Oh, I think Kiri's tail just activated, guys. So Kiri emergency was definitely going to happen today, because I know she did not even close to empty herself this morning. So she just started getting restless. So I'm pretty sure that we'll have to table this for a second in just a little bit. And I'm going to have to rush the little doglet outside. Just giving y'all fair warning. So anywhere I have kind of a clumpy rock where I didn't smooth it out, I'm just going to try to use stipples. I'm going to use little dots. I do still have some walnut from my previous model, so happily I can blend in some of this stuff a little bit. So we're just like trying to bring that up. Now, I'm going to grab my yellow. If I feel like my mixture of my gray with my yellow, which is this kind of weird color here, isn't quite good enough, I can take some actual yellow, thin it down, and bring it up a little bit toward the edges on this. I'm bringing it up a little stronger so that you can see the color. Because sometimes you need to see that hint of color from up top in order for it to read correctly. But you don't want to, again, you don't want to go too strong. You got to watch yourself. The minute you drench this area with yellow light is the minute you lose the way that light actually acts, which is that it fades out very quickly as it goes away from its source. Even when the source is as light as a fireball. Hey, Paul John's Life, how's it going? Yeah, she's settled a little bit. The water is going to reflect light, Kaz, but I don't have the water in place yet. So what I will probably do is go forward with all this, do my water effect, figure out how much light the water is going to reflect, and pick up the rocks around it commensurately. But right now I got no water. Right now I'm not like, I haven't painted in any water yet. I haven't done the water yet. So because of that, I'm just going to block in these rocks. I don't know yet how light they're going to end up, right? I haven't painted the area. So instead I'm just going to make sure that I'm hitting the areas that need highlights at least a little. And then I'm going to put the water in, and then I'm going to adjust. But until I see how my water turns out, I'm not going to really understand how much light I need on the rocks that are near to it. Like right now, I have a picture in my head, but that picture may be different, and almost certainly will be different from what actually happens when I set out to make this happen. So, for now, until I know just how, the water is going to be weird anyway, because it's dusk, right? Water would be so much easier if it was daylight, but then I wouldn't be able to do the reflection effect. I wouldn't be able to do the what I'm doing here with all the darkness and the dramatic lighting. So, it's a trade-off. It would be a lot easier to do this to understand if it was daylight. Then the water could just be normal with just a little bit of suggestion of yellow highlights. Just try to mix up more of my highlight color for the rock here. Just kind of a yellowish gray in a weird kind of way. Yeah, it is a pup emergency. It's going to be very quickly. I can tell. She got restless. She settled down again. So she's holding it, but yeah, it will be a pup emergency. It will be imminent. Usually I'll give her the benefit of the doubt if she settles down again, just because I don't want to disrupt the stream for nothing. Just gonna do some of this. So yeah, blocking in the yellow light up here on the rocks. It's about 10:30. If she can just hold off for another half hour. Although I guess it's a little more than a half hour. So there I went a little bit too strong with my yellow. I needed to start with my more gray mix. And then this rock's going to be in the middle of the water. And I still am kind of hesitating on what am I doing with the water. Like, I think I'm going to paint it a dark blue. A really dark blue. Just hints of blue in the bed here. So that when I put the effects over the top of it, it does, kind of read as water, even though that may not be strictly realistic. It's got to be close to black in the light. But you'd still probably have some blue reflection from the evening sky, and then you'd have yellow picking up on the ripples. So what I think I want to do is have the blue from the evening sky painted on, do the water over the top of it, and then add texture to the water and pick up texture on that water with yellow light. That's what I think I want to do. Just like thinking about how it might actually look. No, Val, it doesn't work like that. I'm sorry. The thing is that if she's not, directly showing me that she needs to go out, I could take her out and she just won't do it. Kiri, being an old dog and also having a limited attention span, it'll just, it'd be like a chance of it being a waste of time. And then 5 minutes later, she'd trigger. So, I know my dog at this point. But yeah, if she is not directly going, oh my gosh, Mom, I need to go, she just won't go. That's the problem with this morning, right? With the mornings where she doesn't empty. I take her out. I know she's full. But she's distracted by smells or by the loud tree trimming machine or the cement pouring machine or whatever. And she's just not really, gonna go because she doesn't super have to go. So that's why I don't just, that's why taking her out before the stream isn't feasible. Taking her out an extra time before the stream. She just won't go. So it's when she triggers and she's like, oh, I can't hold it anymore, Mommy. That's when I have to take her out. Right then. Then she will go. We have it kind of timed down. I've got her outs timed so that most of the time I get results. But, old dog with unpredictable intestines. So yeah, sadly we cannot preempt. Oh, that would make it easy. If I could just take her out again before the stream and have her do her stuff, that'd be easy. But Kiri is just... That's just Kiri, just idiosyncrasies. Yeah, everybody's got their quirks, right? Everybody knows their dog better than anybody else. So yeah, I know she needs to go, but she doesn't directly need to go right now, so Kiri will not go. Because that's Kiri. That's the frustrating thing about my dog. Alright, I'm going to try to bring a little more light here and there into that. I might need even a little more yellow. I'm trying to judge how much yellow I need to have it read right, because there's a lot of yellow here. Now, given her belly is kind of leather colored and it's picking up that color, but I think I do need to pick up enough of that color here so that the light translates, because it's like you have to be able to draw a line with your light, right? Up here, the light's really bright and it's very obvious. It's very obvious, very obvious. It's obvious here. It's falling right on her belly. But if we don't manage to have a convincing transition, if the eye can't move from here directly down to here and see the same color, it's not going to read correctly. And so that's why I'm intensifying the yellow here, so that it really does read like the light is, now that I've got my base color kind of on all these little rocks, now I can add more strong yellow, and I can always block it back a little bit. If it's a little bit too strong, I can back off it. But I think to translate, to make this light really look like light, you need to do what I did with that big rock there. You need to introduce more yellow so that it's close to where the belly is as far as color. You don't want it to be exactly the same because the color of the surface is different, but you do need the light, wherever the light is strongly falling, like the edge of the rock here, you do need that to be the correct color. And that will make it more evident. And then from here, all these rocks are around each other. So now it becomes easy to fade it out more and not make it quite as intense, say on this little rock down here. Although this little rock here is going to be surrounded by water, so it probably will eventually get a high highlight. But right now, just give it a little one. This is where we can use our... and these little pebbles that are in the stream bed, since I'm going to go blue like dusk sky, I may only pick them out with a little bit of white added to that blue. Or light gray added to the blue. Because if we want that texture to show through the water. And I also need to pay attention to this side of the rock. Because remember, this side, this interior side of the rock, although you may be tempted to keep it in shadow, the light is actually falling on the interior side. So the yellow is going to be actually stronger on the inside edges of this rock, these rocks, than on the outside edges. Let's see, so we're looking at all of this up here. Gonna add a little bit more yellow to this one, and this one, that one. Gotta watch, there's gonna be a shadow underneath the snake here, so I have to kind of watch what I'm doing as far as the highlights go. I can get away with a little bit of liberty, but I can't go too far with some of these highlights and have it still look great. I need to really be conscious of what would be underneath the belly here. So I've got this area that needs more. Right, yeah, Princess Zelda, that's exactly it, right? I have them on a schedule. I had them on a schedule when Leah was still with us. And Leah would go, and so Kiri would go. Like, that was just her kind of trigger. But now she doesn't have that trigger anymore since Leo passed away a while ago. And so, at that point it was like, you know, now it's just kind of a guessing game. If she doesn't go when I take her out, I know she's going to trigger at some point, but I can't just take her out and wait. Like, I'd be there for an hour and she wouldn't do it. And the problem is that she gets so tired, like, because she's an old dog. If I keep her outside, she doesn't want to be outside. She wants to be in here. She wants to be home. She's become a very homebody dog in her old age, so she'll actually have trouble. If I keep her out too long, she'll have trouble climbing the stairs, and that's just heartbreaking. So it's like, so you really, I can't just take out the Curie whenever and kind of preempt the problem. Just kind of, at this point, when they're this old, you just gotta kind of go with their schedule. And I mean, you guys are really understanding when I have a Curie emergency to deal with, so I really do appreciate it. It makes that I don't stress about it, right? Because I know you guys understand. So we're just bringing up this light so that it looks correct, and we got to kind of test it. It'll look better, I think, once we get. I need to get some more. What I'm telling me here is, see how the highlights just disappear when I turn it on the side. So what that tells me is I need just a little bit of light on the side of these rocks to kind of carry the effect. Yeah, she's just an old pupper baby. You know, she's very happy most of the time. Like, she's, you hear her squeak her ball at the start of the stream and everything. She loves to come in here and be with me while I stream. And she loves it when, this is her favorite room. This is the office. And she loves it. Like, you should see her go crazy when David and I come in and play computer games. Like, she knows that the words computer games mean that we're going in here and she can lay down and sleep with us. And she squeaks her ball and gets so excited. I should show you guys. Those of you who are on my Patreon on the Discord probably saw the Chibi Kiri. I'm going to show you guys the Chibi Kiri. Hold on. Let me get to the Discord. Chibi Kiri that Chibi Amy's daughter did. Where are we? We need to go to General. Here. It's a Chibi Kiri. It's so cute. It's adorable. Based on my Happy Kiri. So yes. So that's the Chibi Kiri. So I'll get it uploaded as a Twitch emote as fast as I can. We had to test it to see if it showed up little, and it shows up pretty well little. So thanks to Chibi Amy's daughter again. Now I just need one more. I need one more because I have a sad Kiri and I have a happy Kiri. So now I need an oops Kiri. I need the Kiri with the gigantic wide cartoon eyes and the little ooh mouth. So that, because for Kiri emergency. That's what I need. Yeah, so Chibi Amy's daughter did that, guys. And it's wonderful. She's Mr. Calling. Like, there are people on Fiverr making money for this that not as much money as an aerospace engineer is, so I understand why your daughter doesn't want to give up a chance at, working somewhere that's much more lucrative than, being a freelance artist. I could say this, being a freelance artist and having friends who work in the aerospace industry and who are quite happy there. All right, so now we're gonna kind of look and we're gonna try to see. Now we got more yellow showing up, so I can't go overboard, but I have to try to show some of the light coming down at the top edges so that when we look at this from the front, it reads correctly. We can see the yellow. And we kind of have to make the yellow more bright toward the top of the piece, even on these little side bits. So I probably am going to go to my gray for the way outside. And the problem is also, the thing we have to keep in mind is that we're going to come in and introduce some of the blue reflection, right, underneath here. So I also want to kind of keep that in mind. And what I'll probably do is allow most of this here to be blue, for example, because you've got a sleeve and her arm in the way here. And so I can do a lot of blue underside here. Up here, since it's kind of stepping down toward the viewer, it doesn't make sense to have as much blue. Make some blue here and here maybe. But most of this is going to be golden. Then we definitely can do some blue reflection here because there's going to be a pool of water and some vegetation. We do some blue on the underside here, but this needs to be yellow up on the top. So you kind of use your common sense about where the light is falling and like the angles involved. It's an imagination game. Like all this kind of OSL stuff and NMM and all of it, I call it conceptual techniques because it's just a mind game. It's wrapping your head around how light works. You're never going to do good NMM until you do that. Like, at least on a basic level. Like, complicated NMM is very hard. And, I forgot to put on streamer mode. I should go and do that real quick. One sec. Streamer mode. Settings. I learned about streamer mode the other day. Streamer mode. Pardon me, guys, while I do this. Sorry, I took Snack out of the equation, but there we go. Enabled streamer mode. Now my Discord should be quiet. Have to have it open so that I can hear Justin, but I know. Why hear Justin, you say? There we go. That should be better. There we are. Now I need to get my chat back. Should have done that at the beginning of the stream and I totally forgot. There we go. Nope, it's mine. Oh, thanks for the gifted sub, Tiamat. Wow, you have given a lot of tier 1 subs in the channel. Yeah. Yeah, Dogfather. Yeah, that's old. 14. Kiri's almost 13. Kiri has her golden birthday next year, guys. She's going to be 13 on January 13th. So we'll have to do some serious, like, steak. Although, I don't know. Like, steak isn't her favorite anymore. Subs for the sub god. Hey, Jelly. It's nice to see you. I'm glad you made it. One of Kiri's puppies is named Baxter. That's a good name. It's a good name for a beagle mix, too. Yeah, we haven't had our Kiri emergency. It's not late at all. But yeah, Kiri will have her golden birthday on the 13th. And I'm trying to figure out what to make for her. Because lately, like, she used to get steak for, like, special occasions or birthdays or hamburgers, right? But lately, the thing that she is so into is pork. Like, and especially, like, when we made pork belly, oh my god, you would think that the dog was actually attached to the oven. Seriously. I've never, like, the only other meat I have ever seen Kiri go that crazy for is the first time I made a duck. The first time I roasted a duck, when I gave her a tiny bit of it, and her eyes got huge. It was so funny. Oh yeah, living the old dog life. Yeah, so I'm kind of wondering, because I still have some pork belly. I'm kind of like, should I make pork belly right around Kiri's birthday? And give her some pork belly? I mean, super fatty. But I guess when you're that old, it really doesn't matter what you eat. You've probably done any damage you're going to do. Adding a little more yellow here on this side, guys. Just to bring up those rocks. Bring up all those... Now we're starting to get that lighting effect. Like, now I can see... Can you see? It's starting to translate. It's starting to get it. Unseasoned cold pulled pork, yeah. Yeah, Kiri came late to the pork world. I didn't used to eat a lot of it. But, lately we're doing a lot of, pork tenderloin. I started doing pork loin roasts. She doesn't like that as much, though. It was the pork belly. Like, I did it in a Chinese style with 5-spice, sriracha, soy, honey. Oh my god, it was good. But I don't know. There was just something about it. Something about the roasted pork belly that just drove Kiri crazy. Like, I have never, like, like, you couldn't get it out and put it, you couldn't put the leftovers on the counter with having a dog glued to your leg. It was insane. I've never seen her get that crazy. Except for the duck. But then we made duck, and it wasn't as good as the pork. Like, it did not get the pork belly reaction. So I think that maybe Kiri's favorite right now is pork belly. And I might just have to give up and do that. Oh my, yeah. Yeah, I had pet insurance for a long time to help cover that sort of thing. It actually paid for Kiri's cancer treatments. Back when she was 8, she was diagnosed with aggressive cancer, and we caught it really early. So she got treated. We did radiation therapy. I would not put her through that again. Like, she's old now, and the cancer hasn't returned. If it did, though, I think we'd just say goodbye, but... But it was worth it at that time because she was only 8 and now she's almost 13. I mean, I got 5 more years with Kiri. And the insurance, we had Embrace, and it's one of the... Embrace and Nationwide are 2 out of 3 that cover cancer, I think. Not every pet insurance does. But they reimbursed us like 90% of it. So I would say when your dog is younger, pet insurance, totally worth it. As they get older, the premiums get a lot higher, and so then you have to ask yourself, well, do I have enough? I have enough in savings now to cover pretty much anything that happens to Kiri, if an emergency came up. So there we go. So, and that's kind of what you want, guys. You want to look at the model, be able to see the light, and then when you turn it, you don't see the light as much, right? But you get that feel, because as you turn it, the light's going to be dropping off, so you shouldn't see as much light on the side here. Now, one thing I do need to do is make sure, because I've lightened up these little rocks quite a bit, and they are going to be close to the water, so I can probably get away with that, but I have to keep that in mind as I move forward, just to double check and make sure it looks right once I add the water. With visual effects, often there's a lot of fine-tuning that goes in to these effects, like when you're doing a lighting effect and you're doing, something wet or a different surface. You have to kind of double check yourself. You have to add in, once all elements are kind of blocked in, you want to double check and make sure that it looks right. And your untrained eye is usually a perfectly good judge if it looks right. Yeah, we don't have room for a smoker. We have a grill, but it's an electric, or it's a propane grill. I did the pork belly in the oven, and it worked out great, actually. I do a lot of stuff in the oven that other people use grills for, because I like to control the temperature. I understand the art of really getting good at grilling, and I think I could get into it if we had a proper backyard and some proper equipment, but instead I've gotten just really good at using the oven and the broiler to do a lot of the same stuff. Oh yeah, the cancer stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm a paranoid pet owner. So if my dog is doing anything weird, I'm going to be going to the vet. So yeah, we brought her in and they found a lump, but they were able to surgically remove it, and they pretty much, my initial vet did a really good job of removing all of it. Like, the cancer center was actually pretty impressed. And then we did the radiation, which was not fun, and definitely Kiri was, that's hard to put a dog through. But the people at the cancer center loved her, so that was another good thing. She is really a sweet dog, and she's more into people. She is a dog's dog. Like, she gets along with other dogs, but she loves people, and she would just come up and lie under their desk to get ear scritches. So the entire staff signed a bandana for Kiri when she had her last appointment. Like, they adored her. They're like, we would like to keep your dog, but we understand that she is the sweetest dog ever, and so that you are lucky and you can keep your dog. But so yeah, Kiri has got lots of fans. You've done a good job raising your dog when the vet office absolutely loves your dog. Yeah, I can't smoke. I end up using smoked salt dog fodder to get some smokiness in there. It's not the same, but I mean, we had a smoker. My ex had a smoker when I was in Texas. So, I mean, I've had smoked meat. And it was nice, but I just don't have the setup for it here. Like I said, maybe if David and I can someday afford a house, then I'll be able to get some more equipment. But right now it's actually a nice challenge to make some of this stuff in the oven and try to get close. The pork belly was delicious, so maybe it would have been better on the smoker, but it was definitely not bad. So, and with some of the Chinese applications, the Chinese flavors, like the 5-spice and all that, I feel a little better not doing it on a smoker, just doing it in an oven. Not that you can't do the Chinese grill stuff on a smoker, but getting that little light in there. Oh, yeah, winter. Yeah, Kiri, I had to drive down to Dallas every day. Like 4 days a week, 3 days a week. Early, too. Rush hour. So it was like an hour to an hour and a half car drive to get Kiri down for her treatments. And that lasted about 4 or 5 months. So I had to get up early, far earlier than an Ann should ever get up, and sit in traffic and drive her all the way down, and then drive back to get her because there were longer treatments I had to get to work. So, yeah, Kiri's kind of acting like she's a little uncomfortable right now, so she may need an out shortly. Just giving it kind of a heads up. I like to keep Justin in the loop. All right, so we're starting on the gray highlights for the rock back here. Down on the underside, we're going to have a lot of blues. But I think we're making really good progress on Snake today. Actually, we got a lot done today. So if Kiri can hold out for another 10 minutes, although I went late yesterday, so I guess we could call it. But
yeah, no, if she's uncomfortable, we're good to go.
She's pretty okay right now. She'll kind of twitch around and kind of get a little restless, and then she'll settle down again. So, well, give me just a couple minutes. Actually, I've got all sorts of smoked salts tonight. I've got like hickory and mesquite and applewood, and I've got like this selection champagne barrel. Got this like little collection of them, and it smells, actually, they smell really good. So maybe it's the brand on the smoked salt. But I find that using a little bit of them in my rubs really goes a long way. Adds a little bit of that. That, and we use like chipotle, smoked chipotle powder and stuff like that. So that also helps adding smokiness when you don't have a smoker. Life hacks. Yeah, cancer's in every breed, and it's hard, right? Because our breed is outcrossing right now to try to help with our cancer and other genetic diseases. So we're adding in other breeds of dogs, and almost every breed has cancers, but a lot of the cancers are inherited differently. There are a couple that have been linked to each other, but a lot of them seem to be on separate loci. So our hope is that even if we introduce like a slightly different type of cancer with these outcross breeds to the Shiloh, we aren't going to breed or interbreed on that line. So we're hoping we can get away from it by breeding back to Shilohs, but still have a chance to reduce our cancer by increasing genetic diversity. That's my for those of you who don't know, that's my other part-time job, is my work with my dog club, and I'm our liaison for the University of California at Davis in our genetic sequencing project and everything. So we're high tech, our dog breed. We're not your average group of dog breeders. Which is why we're not like AKC. Because we couldn't do a lot of the stuff that we're doing if we were part of the AKC. Alright, so we got a bit more yellow light there. Coming around, bringing it up. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the cancer can take them really fast, right? And that's just it. It's like, Kiri's great, but I know that she could go downhill. She might not see her 13th birthday. We don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know. The last time she was in, she like had a full body like sonogram, and there was nothing. But that was a couple years ago now, so you just never know. Once they get to a certain age, I believe it's like every day is just a gift, and you just go into it thinking of that, and you're always alert. You're happy when they're happy, but you're always alert to the fact that you might not have much more time with them. So I'm really happy that my job right now allows me to work from home. That you guys on my Patreon pretty much and my Twitch help me to do this, because it really has made the situation with Kiri much, much more workable and much happier. Like the fact that I get to spend so much time with her in her like old age, and that if something happens, I can be with her and not have to worry about losing a job. All right, there's the dog stretch. I'm going to say we should wrap it, Justin. What do we got? Right. What do we got for a raid?
Let's see here.
Good girl, Kiri. Yeah, we do have dog tail sign. I'm going to leave you guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. I will be back tomorrow morning. We'll do more snack, okay? Have fun, everybody. Bye-bye.
Gonna be rating Anna Mare. Looks like she's sculpting some fun stuff here. I can't tell quite what it is off the thumbnail here, but she's doing some sculpting, so we'll switch it up a little bit today, guys. Don't forget, um, we have Painting Platinum at 3 o'clock, and then of course we have Reaper Live at 6 o'clock tonight. So don't forget, guys, come hang out with us. It'll be fun.